And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my personal YouTube channel. And I am doing the same tradition I've been doing the last 3 years with my two friends again, Cody House and Justin Doyle. Hello, guys.
Hey,
Going.
hey.
Uh, so, the question I wanted to open this chat is: hasn't 2024 been a strange yet fascinating year of cinema?
Well, it was a good year for horror,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
I
I,
think we were definitely affected by the strikes, by like just the a number of films that were released, and not necessarily the quality, because I wouldn't say it was a bad year for movies, but I wouldn't say like there was no Barbenheimer this year, right? There was no like true like this movie's probably going to be like, oh, there might be some classics for the ages, but it just wasn't a huge year for movies.
What's
no.
weird was it feels like not just horror, but there's also a giant return of movie stars. Like Zendaya headlined her own movie that became a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of brewing last year too, though, with the kind of return of the movie stars kind of sort of thing, with a lot of the IP stuff not working as well or doing as well. Even though
Yeah,
Deadpool and Wolverine made a poop ton of money.
yeah,
Yep.
but Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are like the last of the old movie stars.
They still got some good years in them.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, one of the old movie stars has returned for a horror, which I really, really like.
Heretic.
The Substance.
Even more. Yeah. Really old movie star.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she just won the Critics' Choice, so it's a lot of wins coming down her belt, and I think with the Amelia Perez controversy, she has a really good chance of winning.
yeah. I mean, I think Mikey's too young. Cynthia Erivo's amazing, but she's she's not an Oscar winner yet. And I mean, the Brazilian lady might have a strong chance against Demi Moore, but that's about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a performance-driven year this year. I think
Absolutely.
the movies aren't necessarily the best, but because they had amazing performances, it really elevated the movie, and that will happen. We'll talk more about that as we do our list here. But also, I felt like it was the year of the movie with no good ending. Lots of rushing to the end and not
Yeah,
um, threading everything out and yeah, they had a great beginning and middle, and then once the end came, it was like, God,
the
this is doesn't
yeah.
fit the rest of the film.
A couple of my top 11 have solid endings, but I kind of get what you mean. A couple of them just kind of end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be at least one on here. Well, actually, a couple of mine might have endings like that Justin feels about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know for sure one of them.
Yeah. All right, Cody, since I went first 2 years ago and Justin went first last year, it's your time to go first this year.
All right, and we're doing a top 11 this year, right?
Yes, top 11. So what happened is I saw my number one just as I was creating my list, and I didn't want my number 10 spot to just be chucked out the window.
Understand it can be hard sometimes. All right, not a problem at all. Um, I know this is probably the only, I probably like this movie the most out of the three of us because it's probably not going to be on anybody else's list. It was a movie that I really enjoyed when I watched it. Didn't know much about it, but I do like the director's other works and his kind of take on certain genres within the action genre.
Hmm.
And he described this film as First Blood meets Michael Clayton, and I think that does sum up what this movie's about. And I think it does have a lot to say about current state in America, especially with small towns and how corrupt police forces are, and also what an absolute movie star Aaron Pierre's going to be. I can't wait to see what he does as Jon Stewart, but he's absolutely amazing in this film. And my number 11's Rebel Ridge. I also really love Don Johnson as the corrupt sheriff.
Yeah, he is a legend.
It's just a ton of fun too, just to see like him beat the crap out of these racist cops.
Absolutely. I just wish there was a bit more action to it. The plot kind of was a bit too draggy for me. I love Aaron Pierre, and I do and I preferred him as Mustafa in the Lion King prequel. But I think he's a good action star. Hopefully, like a new Schwarzenegger. So hopefully he'll go places. And yeah, it just felt too similar to films like Walking Tall and other action films from the 2000s.
That's what I was just going to say.
Extremely better than Walking Tall. Also, I didn't realize the female lead's the girl from Bridge to Terabithia.
She's also in the Johnny Depp, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory too.
Anna Sophia Robb?
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
I don't even remember her in that.
Yeah. What did you think to this one, Justin?
No, it's a fun ride. I think just like both of you have said, I do agree it could have used a little more action. I do feel like it is a little Walking Tallish, but it's rated TVMA because it came out on Netflix. But the rated R version of the Walking Tall, but he is just as charismatic as Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So
absolutely.
And I do think that Don Johnson's a better villain for sure. He more well known, definitely. But there's
you
the
guys
heart
gotta
of,
at least admit the scene where Don Johnson thinks he has the upper hand because they haven't gotten all of his his identification of his background of what he did in the military, and then when it's revealed, it's too late. That's a great scene.
Yeah, when they're together, I think that's when the movie shines. But yeah, it has some heart. It's about family and doing what is right. It's pretty solid. That's a good pick.
Yeah. I'm glad you got enjoyment out of it, Cody.
6.8 on IMDb. Critics love it with 96% from Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience 72.
Nice. Well done, Cody. Right, do you mind if I go next?
Let's hear it.
So the reason why I like to always have an international film in my list, and like I said, this one I wanted to make sure one qualified, so it ended up being my number 11. This is a music biopic, but a very alternative musical biopic. It's Kneecap from Ireland.
Yeah, still one I want to see.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting subject matter, and I think especially probably more for us, we don't realize like how a lot of the Irish culture's been kind of, it's not necessarily the word whitewash, but maybe colonized from like the England.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really interesting because, it's similar here to our indigenous and native population in the country. And not all the music is great to me, but some of the songs are a lot of fun.
Absolutely. But I like this movie because the plot is like very compelling about how they started this band. I like how they're playing themselves. There's no actors or CGI monkeys playing them. And the humor is quite sharp. It makes me laugh at times. And, the music is what adds to the experience. But there's only one performance that stands out, and that's Michael Fassbender. And yeah, I like how it explores the Irish language.
Brought it back.
Yep, brought it back.
And Michael Fassbender is the only sort of known name that we know in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see this one.
Yeah. Because I don't know why they chose Flow over this one at the Oscars.
Flow's great.
Yeah, but there's no spoken language in it.
But
Yes,
still
that
came
is true.
from an international country.
So did Robot Dreams, but that wasn't Zane's pick.
They had a better one then.
Fair enough.
Kneecap was shortlisted for the Oscars. Could have gone in there. But no, instead we got A Girl with the Needle,
I need
which
to see
is
that.
insane.
I bet it is.
7.6 on IMDb for Kneecap. Critics and viewers love it. 96 from the critics and 95 from the viewers. Pretty good. It's out on Netflix right now.
Or Prime in the UK.
Or Prime in the UK. Nice.
All right,
All right.
let's do your number 11, Justin.
Well, it has been mentioned already because you just sort of maybe, I don't know if you badmouthed it, but I love musicals. And I really enjoy it when you can do something different and give us something we haven't seen before. And we have never seen a singing, dancing monkey who does cocaine and has sex. I had a lot of fun with Better Man, my number 11.
I
Fair
haven't seen
enough.
one yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, it's the same director as The Greatest Showman, and they only really have one number that is, huge and spectacular and like The Greatest Showman. The other ones are, pretty performance based. I mean, he's a real guy, Robbie Williams, and
I've seen him live before. He puts on a good show.
did he wear a monkey outfit?
No.
Oh man. So I did want more of that, and that's the reason why it's not higher on my list, is because I wanted more musicals and fun dancing and stuff. Big numbers where, again, it's just performance based. It's just going through his life and seeing pretty much in sync come together. And yeah, I just think it was interesting how they sort of started out as like sex objects, and then that's kind of where he landed for the rest of his life.
There's still a band
so
today take that.
Not to reveal what else you have on your list or your thoughts on other movies, Justin, but did you prefer this over a much more acclaimed music biop film that's out right now?
We will talk about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, Better Man, it's a lot of fun. I think it lived more. It was one of those things where people just could not believe that it didn't get nominated for more. And it's not Best Picture worthy or anything, but it did get Best Visual Effects. It's going up against another monkey movie, which also had great visual effects.
Monkeys were very much in this year.
Oh yeah, Monkey Man. Yeah, the monkeys in the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes are awesome. Like, the villain was so good. Yeah, that's an also ran of like 20 in my top 20, I'd say. But yeah, Better Man was a lot of fun. It was interesting musical, and eventually you don't even realize that it's a monkey. You just kind of fall in with what it is.
Yeah. Well, they never mention he's a monkey on screen.
Correct. Just visually, it looks like one.
Yeah. Yeah, because my mum loves Robbie Williams, hence why I'm nicknamed Robbie. So
that's the reason why.
Yes, that is the reason why.
Wow.
Yeah, so I took her to see it just after New Year's Day.
Wow, that's really nice. Yeah,
I
I mean,
did. You know how much I loved the Amy Winehouse biopic. I wasn't as big on Better Man as I was with Back in Black. I think because Amy was a real person in that, she was a bit more relatable.
sure, yeah. But at the crux of this movie is about family, and that also it has a lot of heart. So I think
Yeah,
that's
I like the actor
a
who
good
plays
blend.
his dad because he's in a lot of British shows.
Yeah, he plays a major role in the film, and it's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
7.7 on IMDb. Critics like it with 88%, and the audience loves it a little bit more at 90.
Probably diehard Robbie Williams fans like my mother.
Yeah, all of them come from the UK.
That's true. I mean, I know a little bit of him because there was a couple of his songs that were on TRL back in the day, but he didn't really splash here in America.
No.
I guess it's because his act of like the cheeky English chappy doesn't really work well. But I know you guys are a little bit like don't mind a bit of Britishness, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why he did it the monkey way is so that he can still sort of play himself, but he's older and he can't look like himself. So I understand why he did it, and I
He's
just think
just
that's really
turned
interesting.
50 recently.
Right. So he can't play himself at, sexy 21 anymore.
No, far from it.
All right. Cody, number 10.
All right, cracking the top 10, and I feel we'll probably be talking about this one a little bit later, so I'll probably get cut off once I reveal the title. But I haven't seen Flow, I haven't seen Memoir of a Snail, so for right now, this is my favorite animated film of the year. I thought it was an incredibly touching story. It's a very heartwarming film about not just being a parent, but kind of being like a step or foster parent. And it's just a beautiful and emotional story. And that's The Wild Robot.
Which is also on my list.
That's why I figured we'd probably talk about it later, because I figured it might be a little bit higher on your list.
Okay, well, my number 10 is going to be higher. Is probably going to be higher on both your lists. So, I know we're saying the movie star is coming back, and there's only 3 actors in this movie, and all 3 of them are fantastic. You have Mike Feist, who was really good in West Side Story, but he's only just started to be in more films now. Josh O'Connor, who's trying to break out into different roles other than Prince Charles. And finally, we have the new movie star, the new Julia Roberts, Zendaya, in Luca Guadagnino's Challengers.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
You know how to make me laugh.
Yes. Definitely higher on my list, so we shall chat later.
Yeah.
All right, my number 10. I don't think it's on your guys' list at all, but I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really well done. It kept me thinking and I wanted more. It gave us a look at some real scumbaggery, but in a fresh way, from first-time director Miss Zoe Kravitz. This is Blink Twice.
Great pick.
What
Not
a
on
cool...
my list, but I gotta say, I did really love the third act of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it needed the third act, because the first 2, you're like, what the hell is even happening? It's kind of a play on the Epstein Island sort of thing, but we don't know what happened there, and this is sort of maybe an insight of what really was going on there. But it is your mind, you can't even fathom that the stuff that would happen on this island.
Right, I just want to let you guys know I'm kind of I have a lot of knowledge on the scandal involving Sean Combs. So I kind of see, and it's a bit weird how when this film came out, that scandal kind of came out in the public.
Well, art sometimes imitates life and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
What a first go for Zoe Kravitz. This movie was thrilling. It's a thriller. You again just don't know what's going on, and like, do we even know that Naomi Aki is the person that we're supposed to be sort of rooting for? Because where does she? How is she involved in all of this? Huge stack cast. You also have Channing Tatum and Christian Slater's, Adriana Arjona, who was in Hitman and did really well. Kyle MacLachlan, Haley Joel Osment, Gina Davis, Ali Shawkat. Just a huge, huge movie.
Yeah.
And the
It was
production
nice.
design.
It was nice to see Gina Davis back in the film, but sadly, I don't fancy her as much as I did in her '90s movies.
She's still a legend in my
Yeah.
heart.
Oh, absolutely, one of the best actresses of her time.
Yeah. But yeah, the production design of this movie is awesome. I think the camera work really worked in this one, and yeah, it had me not only blinking twice but thinking twice about it. It's good stuff. 6.5 on IMDb. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, 75 from the critics and 71 from the audience.
Good pick.
It's a good movie. Number 9, Code.
All right. We may be talking this later. I think it's only an honorable mention for Robbie, but I know, Justin, you really loved the first part, so I suspect this might be on your list. Again, this is a movie I really loved when I saw it. I think it's better than the first part, honestly. It's a shame that Denis Villeneuve's not getting the nominations he deserves. I wonder if they had pushed this to November, would he have been more included in the nominations? But regardless of the fact, he did something that a lot of people thought was impossible, was adapting Dune. Now we know David Lynch did it back in the 80s, but that was a compromised film and wasn't really the completed story. But I think Denis Villeneuve knocked it out of the park. It is one of the most biggest epic scope films ever made, and it's really lasted because this came out in March and it's just stayed through, even though a lot of the awards people in the industry tend to forget about it, even though they really nominated the heck out of the first part. But
it's the same with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, but my number 9 is Dune Part 2.
Honorable mention for me.
It is also my number 9.
Oh, what nice.
Nice.
Let's talk more about it.
Well, I gotta say, I love the inclusion of the cast that wasn't in the first part. I think I much prefer Austin Butler as a villainous Ham than I did as Elvis. Florence Pugh, Anya Taylor-Joy, Christopher Walken, but I mean the cast from the original are also incredible. I love that Zendaya's character gets more urgency and character than she does in the book or in the Lynch
She's
version.
one of my favorite characters in these films.
Yeah, she seems the most grounded for sure.
Yeah.
I think Ferguson and Rebecca Ferguson and Javier Bardem are both incredible. And
the only thing I have problem with Rebecca Ferguson's character is why is she pregnant throughout the whole movie when she gives birth in the book?
Because they want to make the third one.
Choice, I would say, and I think they really brought it home. Is it completely the book? No, but they modernized it for modern audiences too, and I really like that.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't big on Christopher Walken as the Emperor because the Emperor's meant to look no younger than 35.
Well, I think
Justin would have been a better Emperor than Christopher Walken.
Hell yeah. I think it's an adaptation, right? So it's based off of events that happen in the book. Doesn't mean it's word for word, which I like. I mean, they're
it's just the first film because of how much I loved the first movie. It got me in with like the lore and what I was trying to expect with this one.
A Speaking of performance-driven year, Javier Bardem is so
Stole
damn
the
good
show.
in this movie. He
Stole the
stole
show.
the show.
The
Absolutely.
the shot on the close up shot on his face is one of the best cinematography of the year.
Also, if they were giving out awards for the weirdest popcorn bucket, Dune wins.
Oh my God, what a joke. Yeah. Huge stack cast. It's already top rated number 54 on IMDb. It's got 5 Oscar nominations. It is just a spectacle, and it's trying to be better than the first, and it could be. It gives us a little more story, a lot more story actually than the first, and then yeah, just the visuals and the production of it all was just huge, and yeah, Javier Bardem stole the show and kept me wanting to keep watching, and of course Zendaya
Also,
is
the
Zendaya.
shot at the start of the spaceship where they're coming out of the ship, that's probably one of the best shots I've seen in a sci-fi movie. It feels like you're watching something from a German 30s movie.
Nice. Yeah. Also, we got more worm.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of more sandworms. You get a lot more of the religion that Jessica belongs to. You get Leah Sado briefly in the movie.
Yeah.
And now there's a TV show.
Yeah, I haven't
Prophecy.
watched the TV
Which
show.
I've heard isn't doing well in terms of reviews.
Yeah.
Maybe Dune just is better for cinema, not TV.
Also nominated for Best Sound, Achievement in Visual Effects, Picture of the Year, Cinematography, and Production Design. Is there a lock for the movie?
Sound and visual effects, I think it'll win just those two.
Okay. Sitting at 8.5 on IMDb.
Wow.
Yeah, overall at Rotten Tomatoes, 92% from the critics, 95 from the audience.
Nice.
What's your number 9, Rob?
Which I think has taken over Dune Part 2 as the biggest film of the year. We've seen this before, and we've seen this on stage, but we've never seen this properly done in film. They have tried to do like different spin-offs of Oz every couple of years, but it's never really worked out. But they finally done it, and it's called Wicked.
Nice.
Now on your guys' list?
Negative.
Oh, I'm surprised, but mentioning monkeys again. Monkeys are in this movie.
Yes. So what I love about this film is the story, because you see a different side to the Wicked Witch of the West. We know her to be this terrifying, evil presence in the Wizard of Oz. And, you know, in this one, she's kind of like Joker or Cruella. She's a bit more synthetic, and it works because you kind of relate to her. But the one who steals the show is Glinda. Ariana Grande this has restarts my love for her as a pop star, and also showing me that she can actually properly act. Jonathan Bailey shines. Peter Dinklage is fantastic as the goat. Michelle Yeoh is fine. And Jeff Goldblum's Jeff Goldblum. But what makes this great is the production design and the visual effects and the costumes and the makeup. Everything just looks real. The only reason why I have this at number 9 and not higher is because I feel like the directing makes the film look like an MCU movie.
I was really astonished by the effects and the production design of this movie. They really knocked it out of the park. And of course,
absolutely.
Both the female leads are incredible. I mean, Ariana Grande is hilarious, but I mean, Cynthia Erivo, what a talent, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The one thing that didn't work for me is the CGI animals. They really kind of took me out of the movie. But
not even in the original. Like that stuff is all made up. which
Well,
again, it's adaptation, right? But
but I mean, it's also adapting the book and not just the stage musical as well. So there's elements of the book I didn't think that were going to be in this movie. So,
yeah, I agree with everything except for the Cynthia Erivo. I don't understand why she's nominated. I don't get it. I think she's really, really good, and she's been great, and was even better in Harriet. I think she got nominated for that as well. But this was not. Her vocals are fine. I don't think they're as good as Ariana Grande or some of the other people that are on the cast. I don't know, she felt really, really flat to me on a character that's supposed to be huge. The production design is unbelievable though. That, Shiz College, the library was one of the best things I've seen all year. I think that number in there was great. I mean, it was an 11-minute song or something that just kept on going and going. It's pretty well done, and this is the Barbie movie of this year, one that people went back to see over and over again, made a lot of money.
I worked for the kid who saw it like 5 times.
yeah,
Yeah,
did that. I'm in the minority, but I prefer John M. Chu's previous musical just a little bit more than this movie.
No, that's fair enough, because that one feels a bit more real, whereas the directing here just feels like a bit artificial. That's what I meant by an MCU movie.
yeah, I like In the Heights a lot.
Yeah.
But
he might have directed Wicked for Good better, so,
I am interested to see what he does with the second part, because this movie was as long as the actual stage musical is.
Yep, and it ended at intermission.
Yeah,
with that song. What about I didn't know going in that there was going to be a part 2. Did you guys know that? Well,
Yeah,
I watched it when it first came out.
I did because I was letting out a screen when it first opened, and I had the ending ruined. I only watched this movie because it was hyped and people were putting it on top 10 lists, and I just thought, I'm going to see this movie. I need to see this movie now.
Nominated for 10 Oscars: makeup and hair, best music, best sound, visual effects, motion picture, actress, supporting actress, editing, production design, costume design. What's the lock here?
And as you know, Justin, it won my Best Film Award at the Flemings.
So were you saying Best Picture then?
I think maybe either production design or costume, maybe.
Well,
I think
costume,
you'll win both
I think,
of
is a
those.
lock. Yeah.
Hopefully, if this Amelia Perez controversy doesn't die down, Ariana wins Best Supporting Actress.
Look, Zoe Saldana has nothing to do with whatever Carla had to say. Speaking of best performance, I have Amelia Perez at like number 13, I think, only because Zoe Saldana gave the best performance of the year. Nobody beat her, in my opinion, but because of Carla and what she had to say, unfortunately, it didn't make my top 10 because you kind of made your own bed here. But there's no way that Ariana Grande is going to beat Zoe Saldana. No way.
Oh well, this is why I just prefer to have my own awards.
Yeah, exactly. Cody, this is not an all-ran or anything for you?
I would throw it as an honorable mention, I guess. I did really enjoy it, but I just didn't love Wicked. I liked it, enjoyed it a lot, but yeah, I didn't love it.
Yeah, same.
And
I love musicals.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Just me this time. But what happened is it's made me look at Oz differently, and that's what's more important. That's the message of the film.
Yeah, no, the message is great in that. 7.6 on IMDb. Check this out. The budget was $150 million. Worldwide gross $722.7 million. Killing it.
Wow,
88%
I
from.
wonder if the second one will make double that because obviously people have seen the first one on streaming now.
Yeah, possibly. 88% from the critics, 95 from the audience.
Nice.
All right. Moving
It
along.
just,
Number 8.
it just didn't need to be that good.
I think it needed to be so people would like not doubt what they were doing, because there were a lot of skeptical people about this movie. So I'm glad it's as good as it is.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
All right. We're ready for my number 8?
Yes.
So we've talked about how it is a weird year for cinema, how it's like kind of a year for the movie stars. It's also was oddly a year for movies, especially for cinema and film nerds, where you're like, oh, they don't make movies like this anymore. This is like something from the 90s or the 2000s that would have been on cable on loop. And my number 8 definitely fits that bill. It's a mix of a political thriller mixed with like a Agatha Christie murder mystery, an incredible ensemble cast, and maybe because I'm a lapsed Catholic, it responded to me more. And I was surprised I enjoyed this movie because I knew it was going to be political a little bit. I saw it directly after the election, the weekend after. And maybe the lapsed Catholic in me just responded to this film. But my number 8's Conclave. And this is coming from somebody who didn't love All Quiet on the Western Front. But I was riveted from beginning to end watching this movie. And it's just guys in rooms talking.
Did you like the two popes?
I did enjoy the two popes.
Okay.
But I like this one more than the two popes.
So it's just me who likes the war action stuff then.
No, I like All Quiet more than I do like Conclave. Not on my list.
No, not on mine either, but an honourable mention. I love Edward Berger, as you know.
Did you like the ending, Code?
I love the ending. I know people were kind of baffled by it, and even there was a couple of people in the screening I was at that weren't hot about it. But of course, I live.
One of my managers wasn't big on it either. The ending, she was quite surprised.
So it was still in theaters for you?
No, it's not in theaters anymore because it's been on streaming for a while. But I kind of saw it after it'd been out for a while because I saw it like in early November.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I saw it when it hit the cinemas in the UK late November.
Yeah, I watched it on Peacock.
Yeah.
Did
you like the character? Did you like the characters more in this one, Cody?
Well, yeah, because I knew who was who and what their names were. Yeah, I did like the characters more. I gotta say, I forget the actor's name. The Italian cardinal.
Sergio.
He was great.
Castellito. Yeah, he was good.
But of course, Tucci's great. Fiennes is great. Lithgow's great. Isabel Rossellini. They're all great.
Isabella Rossellini should not be up for Best Supporting Actress.
I agree. That's more on her status of who she is, because it's not much of a. She's only got like one real scene.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, and she talks through a door.
Where's Danielle Deadwyler?
Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Insane.
But this is the movie that really nails why there should be an ensemble category at the Academy Awards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said at the beginning. Like, they don't make movies like this anymore. This is exactly something that is, like my dad would love this movie. It's just really, really well done, and it's beautiful. They know how to use color in this film, and it just really shined for me in that aspect.
It should be nominated for cinematography instead of Emilia Perez.
Well, it is nominated for 8 Oscars, including music, for score. Best Picture, performance by a lead actor, performance by supporting actress, adapted screenplay, achievement in film editing, production design, and costume design. Any locks?
Adapted screenplay,
Adapted
probably.
screenplay for sure.
I would agree with that. Yeah. This is where the ending did not fall flat. That was a really good way to round it out because in the end, it's like who freaking cares, right? Who cares who wins? But then once the reveal and everything is pretty impressive. But this is a really good pick, Code. I think this is on a lot of people's top 10.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did it do anything at the box office? Yeah, budget of 20 million, worldwide gross 91.7. So it did really well.
Oh, good. Maybe Edward will do more theatrical releases now instead of Netflix stuff.
Yeah, I guess my one gripe is that you there's this big beautiful city and you're just hanging out in these walls.
Well, I mean, they gotta pick a pope, Justin. They gotta pick a pope.
I know. Really took them a while. 7.4 on IMDb and over on Rotten Tomatoes, 93 from the critics, 86 from the audience.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's a very well-liked movie. This is one of the ones nominated for Best Picture that's not divisive amongst the industry. Like everyone may not be everybody's favorite movie, but everyone's kind of in agreement. Yeah, this
what controversy is The Brutalist caused?
Well, there's just some people just it's not their type of movie. Also, there's controversy about a couple of shots that they used AI in too.
Yeah, and it's a lot less accessible than Conclave.
Oh yeah. Well, The Brutalist feels like you're watching two movies at once, back to back.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Ready for my number 8?
Yep.
So, I think that the actor of the year, for me personally, sorry Zoe Saldana, it's Sebastian Stan. But not for playing your president, for his other movie, A Different Man. My number 8.
It is higher on my list.
Oh, wow.
A Different Man, yeah.
I love those words you're saying to me right now, Justin.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. Is The Apprentice on anybody's list?
No.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I'm going to watch it. I don't know when I'll get around to watching it. It might be a while for me.
Wait till he's left being president.
I'm really shocked that he's up for Best Actor, but he was awesome. Honestly, he puts on a great performance as Donald Trump, and the movie itself actually wasn't bad. I mean, it's not necessary. We don't need it at all.
It's a bit disturbing now you know everything about him, and even though the film says at the start it's fictionalized, you can tell it was trying to be honest.
I heard Jeremy Strong kind of steals the show in it, though.
He is crazy. Yeah, I do get that nomination. That makes sense. But what a shock that was.
And if you guys, I really like Civil War, but because of where we are right now, if it's on someone's list, it's on someone's list. But that's why I decided not to put that on my list, because I just couldn't get myself in that headspace to watch that again and put it in my list.
Two of the times that you started talking, I started typing in Civil War because it could sound like what you like, because I also knew that you liked it. And then, it's been Conclave and your number 11, I think. But yeah, Civil War, it was a good movie. And unfortunately, it's just at the wrong time right now.
And what's your number 8?
Speaking of the right time, we don't always need sequels, and they aren't better than the first. But this was on my top, or halfway through point list, and it's staying in my top 10. Not only is it a great animated film, but it is beautifully written. Inside Out 2 is my number 8.
Nice.
Yeah, I was. Go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
No, please, no.
I was gonna say I was surprised how much I did enjoy this movie because you never know with sequels, especially when the original is as good as it is. But yeah, they really did a good job of making a sequel, and even though we don't get all the voice actors back, they did a good job of like making it about a teenager and all those different emotions that come into play as you mature.
I mean, it's just a smart
I
idea.
just prefer the Pixar film that a certain friend of ours doesn't like involving a red panda.
No way. I just think it was super smart. Yeah, like we were watching this little girl grow now, and she's becoming a teenager and going through, like puberty and stuff like that. But also, it's smart because we all loved Inside Out too, and so we want to root for those characters. And then they bring in new characters that are actually trying to push them out, and it's like, well, hey, we still love these characters, but also we end up liking the new characters, and that's just unheard of. It's like they're not a villain, but they are in this. They're the antagonist in this movie. And then, they gave us so many more new characters that are likable. And of course, it's another way to make some money. I liked everyone except for Anxiety because I think it made everybody anxious in theaters. It kind of just is. We were going along with the ride. But it's beautiful, of course. Pixar almost always nails it. But yeah, we have mostly everyone back, but also some new voices. And yeah, it's just really, really well done. And I know we're gonna get more. Now she's gonna be probably like 18 or 19 and about to go to college and leave the house. And then maybe we'll see her again when she's married and has her own kids, and then they have their own thoughts and Inside Out. This is just really, really smart. And I think the writing is what did it for me the most. And it got a little dusty in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
7.5.
No, I love Inside Out too. I just prefer the first one.
To me, it battles it. I think it might be better, which is tough to say. With a $200 million budget, worldwide gross,
But Pete Docter is a legendary animator. Kelsey Mann's only made this one film.
And nailed it. Killed it. And what a tough ask to do a sequel that's based on
there's usually only one director listed, and all films collaborative, but especially animated films are extremely collaborative. There's not just one person riding that ship.
Yeah, and if you look at the credits, it says like director of character, director of animation, director of that. Yeah, but yeah, $200 million budget, worldwide gross $1 billion, $698 million. Just killed it. One of the only, I think there's only 3 that came out last year that made $1 billion. 7.5 on IMDb. Over on the Rotten Tomatoes, we have 91 from the critics, 95 from the audience.
Wow.
Yeah. I loved it.
Nice.
Available on Prime. Nominated for 1 Oscar.
Animated feature, but I don't think it's going to win that. I think it's between The Wild Robot and Flow.
I would agree.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for my number 7?
Hit me.
Yeah.
All right. Justin, I don't think you were hot on this movie from what I've heard, but I guess we'll get your thoughts here in a little bit. But to me, it just shows how versatile this director is on the different types of films he makes and genres he plays with. And my God, this leading actor had a year. If he doesn't become a movie star after this and his much more financially successful film, because this one went straight to streaming. But for me, one of the most entertaining films of the year, one of the most sexiest films of the year. These 2 actors had incredible chemistry on screen together.
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of fun. It's Richard Linklater's Hitman.
Yeah.
Not on the list.
No,
Honorable mention because I love Glenn Powell.
I mean, he's incredible in this movie, especially because you wouldn't think he would play off as being this kind of nerdy-ish professor type, but he does a pretty good job of doing that and then getting to play all these different characters when he's pretending to be a hitman.
Yeah, it is funny, but I can see why Justin wasn't big on it because we didn't see like him going through the training process. We just see him getting pushed into a job.
Yeah.
The real life Gary
I
would have
don't
gone
know
through
if
a lot of training to do that. He wouldn't just been thrown in. It's not protocol.
I don't know what the Texas Monthly article that it's based off of, because this is loosely based off a true story, even though it's definitely highly fictionalized from what that guy did. But, you know, it's a movie. We got to move along. We want to get to the fun stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Adriana Arjona was awesome in this movie.
Absolutely.
I mean, to me, she was better than he was. I put her down as one of my favorite supporting actors of last year. If it was almost anybody else, this movie doesn't work, right? Glenn Powell is one of the hot, sexy guys right now, really popular. He was in Twisters that did really well. He's Anyone But You with Euphoria chick.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, is that her name?
Sylvia Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I don't want to poo on anybody's top 10 here, so I won't say much. But Rob said most of it for me. But I love Richard Linklater.
Yeah, he's got 2 movies coming out this year, but yeah, she should be a movie star too, based off this movie as well.
Yeah, she was in Blink twice. Yeah, I do like the concept. It was in a world we're supposed to, it just was unbelievable. I couldn't grasp it the entire time. But
that's fair enough.
Normally this is a movie right up my alley.
About to say, because School of Rock's the same. He wouldn't just be thrown into a teaching job. He'd have to have background check.
Yeah, well, he lied to get that. And that movie's phenomenal.
I know, right?
This movie is on a lot of people's top 10 lists as well. When I was doing research, it was close to being nominated for some Oscars. I don't think it was shortlisted or anything, but it was definitely in talks. A lot of critics out there were saying that it had a possibility, and he had a possibility of getting in there.
I would have thought if it was to get one, it would have been for screenplay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
which he helped co-write with Richard.
Yeah.
Linklater.
That means Glenn Powell would have been an Oscar-nominated person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Retta's also in the movie. She's great.
Yeah. And the guy from Walking Dead.
Yeah, he almost steals the movie a little bit, that actor. He's quite good as the scuzzy cop.
Yeah.
I'm not finding it. Yeah, there you go. That's good. I like where they were too.
It made $4 million over an $8.8 million budget.
Yeah, it went to Netflix. It still got its money.
This was another one that was supposed to come out last year, but I guess when Netflix acquired it, they just waited to push it out in 2024 instead of 2023, which is fine by me. So I got a Hitman movie on both years' list.
Nice.
I think that was really smart of them, by the way.
So. Glenn Powell won the Best Actor Mid-Season Award at the Hollywood Critics. For my Mid-Season Award, he lost to Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness, which I'm surprised he wasn't nominated.
He was good. 6.8 on IMDb. Now, Rotten Tomatoes, 95 from the critics, 91 from the audience.
Nice.
All right.
You ready for my number 7? So I think it's going to be on your guys' list.
Let's hear it.
All right.
So one of my favourite actors working today is none other than Mr. Coleman Domingo, and in this movie, he's put up against real life prisoners who took part in the program that this film focuses on. It's beautiful. It's real. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It's called Sing Sing.
It's on my list higher up.
Yeah, thought it would be on one of your guys' lists.
Very nice. Movie I really enjoyed.
Oh, good.
But one that I guess I enjoyed more because it's on my list and Sing Sing is not. It was on my mid-year list as well. It's not as high as it was before. I think as time has gone on, I've still loved the movie, but not as much as I enjoyed a lot of other movies that I've seen since then. This movie is a taste of nostalgia. It's going back to the 90s, 91 in fact. I had a really, really good time with just two pals hanging out in the summer at a snack shack.
Nice.
My number 7.
Yeah, honorable mention for me. I really did like this movie. At first, it kind of annoyed me when it started, when we first meet them, which is surprising because I really like Gabriel LaBelle because, of course, you know, he played little Steven Spielberg in The Fablemans, even though his name was Fableman, and he plays Lorne Michaels in Saturday Night. But
Which
So
I
good.
preferred to Snapchat Saturday Night.
yeah, I prefer
It is.
Snack Shack as well to Saturday Night. But
No,
as the
I prefer Saturday Night to Snapchat.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I also prefer Snack Shack to Saturday Night, but Saturday Night's a good movie, and yeah,
Yeah,
LaBelle did a
I
good job.
enjoyed that. But as it progressed and we got to know especially the lead guy and just his life and especially his relationship with another character in the movie, it really grows.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, if you're alive in this time, or you were alive in this time, or you've had sort of summers like this, it just makes you go back to feeling all those things. You know, falling in love and going to hang out at the pool, and you know, bullies and drinking at a young age, and you know, swearing when you shouldn't be. It was just a lot of fun, and to me, I just think it hit me at the right time, right place. That's why I liked it so much. But it's definitely
Yeah.
one that has stuck with me the entire year, and that is why it's my number 7.
I
It's about
just
two
found
best
it
friends.
I like the thing with Rebel Ridge. I just found it to be like too many other coming of age comedies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the 4:30 movie that Kevin Smith put out, I really enjoy, but it's very, very similar, except it takes place in a movie theater instead of a snack shack. But it's the
Yeah.
same feel and takes place in the 90s and stuff, which I grew up in, so it makes sense. I
No.
love it. Wasn't it crazy to see Gabriel LaBelle just jacked for
Yeah.
no reason in this movie? Like, I mean, he's a teenager, right? He's supposed to be like 16, 17, and he looks like he's all, you know, except for his height, he's like a bodybuilder. But I also like the other guy. I thought Connor Sherry did a really good job. It was, you know, my first introduction to him. Um, Adam Rahmeyer directed this movie, which he did Dinner in America, which is a lot of people's favorite indie movie. Very much talked about on that sort of pattern in 2020, which has Kyle Gallner in it, who was in Strange Darling from this past year, which I liked a lot as well.
Which I also enjoyed.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that you liked it, Code. I'm glad to hear that. It's a 7.0 on IMDb. 82% from the critics, 87 from the audience.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. All right,
Number
ready?
6?
Yep.
Okay. I suspect this is a little bit higher up on Robbie's list, but I had been hearing great things about this movie, so I broke down and got a free month of movies so I could watch this movie. because I had heard a lot of amazing things about it, and particularly the performances from the two lead ladies, even though one of them is getting, and well-deserved, wins and nominations, but I think both ladies are incredible in this movie. And I think it has a lot to say about the film industry and how the industry, well, not just how the industry treats women, but how society treats women, especially as you get older. But I think this is an incredible ode to body horror, too. David Cronenberg must be losing his mind right now, how this movie has gotten Oscar nominations. And he's like, this is what I've been doing my whole life. But my number 6 is The Substance.
But also what women think that they have to go through to be.
I'm just so surprised that the French film I liked, that was also a body horror, did not get love that this film has.
Well, I think this is a more palatable film than Titane, too. There's also a little bit more of a plot.
Hey, she wanted a father, all right?
Yeah, can't wait to talk to you about The Substance when it hits higher on mine. But my number 6 is not going to be on either of your list. My number 6 is a sequel and a spin-off and a prequel, and it also has a lot of great action. It's kind of I do prefer the film that came before it, but I have had so much fun every time I've rewatched and watched Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Well, it's an honorable mention for me. I think Chris Hemsworth's incredible in this movie.
He is incredible.
The direction, the production, the special effects, everything in this movie is incredibly well made. My one big issue with this movie is it keeps reminding me how awesome Fury Road is.
And that's what I was about to say, is if this came out first, then this would be amazing. But because Fury Road came out, like, you can't beat that. Fury Road was just too awesome.
I'm not saying this film beats it. I'm just saying I love this movie just as much.
But also, go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's fair. It's an incredibly well-made movie, and I don't even mind that it comes after Fury Road. I just didn't need it to remind me with scenes from Fury Road and ending with like it's reminding us, hey guys, you love Fury Road. Yeah, I love Fury Road, but let Furiosa be its own thing. But I love the world building in this movie and the mythology of like making her an epic character. And I think Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job of holding her own, especially
so does the young girl who appears at the start as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the chapter sequences, and I think she does a great job holding her own when Charlize Theron's already made this character iconic.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest gripes was that Anya didn't come in until an hour in the movie, and the movie is based off of her, and and she's above the title. But also, we know what happens to Furiosa. Like, there's no stake in this movie. There's none. The only thing that we do is get to learn about her, but I didn't fear for her life at all because we know what happens to her. But
you could say the same about Temple of Doom, but there's loads of stakes in that film.
I don't know. But Chris Hemsworth was amazing. He's a great villain, really, really fun.
He should have been an awards talk.
It's kind of what what's it? He Thor: Love and Thunder. Russell Crowe was doing is just he knows he's in a silly role, but he's gonna make the best of it.
Didn't he base part of his performance off of certain birds he would see at the park with his daughter too, or something?
A seagull, a sports commentator from Australia, and his granddad. Those were the inspirations for his iconic voice.
Yeah, Well, with that nose, he kind of looked like a bird, like a toucan.
And with that voice, he kind of sounds like a commentator. Could you just
And he's
imagine
also
him
having just
commentating
an
on?
absolute blast in this movie, playing a villain. Like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I mean, look, this movie is awesome. It rocks.
yeah.
It's exactly what you want from an action film. Just.
I also like about this film is that it feels like you're watching a live action cartoon.
Absolutely, but I mean, you could say the same thing about Fury Road as well. Like that's.
I say it about Fury Road, the Speed Racer movie, Aquaman, and several other movies. Patrick Williams dubbed them as Gonzo blockbusters. These are probably the most Gonzo George Miller's ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my
Great.
favorite film of the first half of 2024.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Great world building, great production, great costumes.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Justin, but sometimes a film can just be entertaining without having high stakes.
That's true. This barely didn't make my list, but it's because of the reasons I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was entertained in this film.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's not a bad film at all.
It survived.
7.5 on IMDb. Didn't do well in the box office, however. $168 million budget. Barely did better at $174.1 million, which is not, if you consider everything that they did for marketing, and I don't think that they made their money back. It's on Max now. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 90%, 88% from the audience.
Awesome.
All right.
And what's your number 6?
It's also a sequel. I mean, every year we're going to have sequels and prequels and everything come out. I mean, it's because, they don't have good writers out there, or they just want to go back to, the past and see if they can rewrite history. Speaking of history, this is what this movie is about. It did really well when the first one came out. This one didn't do as well as we thought it was going to do, but I had a great time. Not only with the movie, the entertainment of it all, it's a spectacle, but also we got another great performance by Denzel Washington. This is Gladiator 2.
On my list.
Cody, not on yours, huh?
No, not on my list. I like Denzel Washington and a couple of other actors because they know exactly what movie they're in, but there's a lot of choices and things in here that I didn't completely love, and it's nowhere near as good as the original.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right. So we're ready for number 5 then?
Bring it on.
All right. It's already been mentioned. I just watched this movie last night, but I absolutely loved it. It's going to have a theme with another movie later on my list about the healing power and therapeutic power of theater. But I thought Coleman Domingo was amazing in this movie. I thought these inmates were incredible in this movie. It is really something, and it humanizes people who are treated as just numbers in our society. And we don't even know what their struggles and their stories are. And it's amazing what this program does for them to make them feel like they're human again. And I haven't seen all 5 of the performances that are nominated for Best Actor because I haven't seen The Brutalist or The Apprentice. But for my money, he's not going to win. But I think Coleman Domingo should get that Oscar for Sing Sing.
I've seen all 5, and he is definitely the best performer in that movie, or the best performer of the 5 for sure. He gave the best performance, and unfortunately, Adrian Brody has all this. He won the Critics' Choice last night again, and he's got this huge run. I don't think it's anywhere near what Coleman Domingo did for Sing Sing. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes, we'll talk about Mr. Brody in a bit.
Yeah, what a unique way to tell a story.
Absolutely.
And I think you need somebody like Coleman Domingo at the helm to keep you engaged the entire time. And he's not even a household name.
I love Clarence. Clarence was
Oh yeah, he was great, and he also co-wrote the screenplay, right?
Yes, with the original guy Coleman plays. Yes.
Yeah, it was really
talk about somebody who should have been up for Best Supporting Actor. Like he was really good in that as well. I mean, he's playing himself, but his self was so raw and real, and you felt for it. You know, you felt for the performance. Yeah, this came out in like the summer, and it stuck with me. I think it's just really smart.
It was meant to come out in 2023, wasn't it?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but I don't know what A24 did with this movie because, yeah, it was released in the summer, but it was like a limited release, and then they just kind of buried it. And I guess they were planning to re-release it for awards, but I feel like I don't know if they put all their money in the Brutalist basket, or they just kind of shot their. They should have either released this wider or put it on streaming sooner because it's just now on VOD. Like, I don't know. I feel like they hurt their awards chances for this.
Yeah, it's about inmates wanting to be theater actors, and you know they get to just do anything besides being an inmate, right? My one gripe, and I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't end up in my top 10, is that they are in prison and they didn't show us any of that. It is all about this class doing the acting.
You saw him in prison a few times.
Well, we see them, but we don't see like what is actually going on. I mean, there's gotta be crime and punishment happening in here, and we don't see any of them.
We've seen that movie before, and this movie is about them trying to connect themselves to their humanity again, especially in the scene between Clarence and Coleman, where Coleman's kind of trying to tell him, like, you know, if you want to do this, you got to be 100% into the program, and he's using, you know, the prison mentality and voices, and he's like, we don't use that word in here. You know, we don't do that.
Yeah.
And I just love how that relationship turns from him kind of being skeptical and kind of making fun of it to where they become like best friends. They're like there for each other. They end up helping each other, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really well done film, and you know, nobody likes being behind bars or behind those walls, but they made it more appealing to sort of visit. Also nominated not only for Best Actor in Leading Role, but Achievement in Music for Original Song for Like a Bird, and nominated for Adapted Screenplay. Do we have a lock?
I don't think there's any lock here. Also, Paul Raci basically sort of playing the same character he played in Sound of Metal, but he was great.
Yeah. But he got the nomination for supporting actor for that movie, not for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is a beautiful film. Really well done. And Coleman deserves. He hasn't won anything, but he deserves all of it.
He's won my award.
Yes, that's true. 7.7 on IMDb. Not real budget to talk about. 97% from the critics and 97% from the audience. This is the highest score we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Wow, and they matched.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, that was your number 5?
Yes, sir.
All right, what do you got, Rob?
My number 5 has already been mentioned. It's what I think is my new favorite DreamWorks film. It's The Wild Robot.
By the way, Cody, what was Rob? What was Sing Sing for you?
It was number 7.
Gotcha. Okay. Talk about the Wild Robot, guys. Not on my list.
Yes, I just love Lupita Nyong'o, as you know, and her voice is fantastic in this. Pedro's great, Mark Hamill's great, Matt Berry's great, Ving Rhames is great, Catherine O'Hara's great, Bill Nighy's great, Kit Connor's great, Stephanie Hazoo's great. The writing's fan. This is by the same guy as Lilo and Stitch.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
He has made two of the
family
best
is a
pieces
theme
of
here.
animation in my lifetime.
And this one's really not about like family as blood. It's more like the family you find that you make.
Yeah, I love stories like that.
I mean, it's one of the better looking DreamWorks films too, because like that's usually been my gripe with a lot of the DreamWorks films. Not only are they not usually as thematically good as like Pixar and Studio Ghibli, but they don't usually look like they're as animated as well. But this one's beautiful.
Well, that Robbie mentioned last time we talked about this. The Last Wish, they were doing that with Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
I mean, I really love the animation with The Last Wish.
Mm-hmm. This movie is great. I thought it was really well done. I think the score was really good, which is crazy for an animated film. You don't really think about like the music unless it's a musical, right?
No.
But WALL-E was so much better. And why do we have to have talking animals? I think if you just let the robot roam and learn, you don't need talking animals.
But it makes sense why, because she learns how to communicate with them. It sets up in the first 10 minutes of the film.
No, right, but there's other ways to communicate with animals. My dog doesn't talk, but we communicate all the time. You know, it's just about familiarity and trusting each other. You know, but
it's just my cat who's the fussy one, then.
Yeah, your cat talks.
By the way, if she did, it'd be Tilda Swinton's voice popping out of
her. By the way, cats only meow because of us. They wouldn't do it in their natural world. But it is so heartfelt. This movie is very, very loving. It tugs at all the heartstrings. You know, if you're a parent, like you're gonna cry your eyes out. Yeah, and the animation is just really, really well done. I think it's maybe the top contender for the Oscar. It's already top rated number 161 on IMDb. Also nominated for original score, best sound, and animated feature. Do we have a look?
I don't know. I think a little cat's gonna beat it.
It's possible, but I think with the talking animals thing, so yeah, WALL-E is definitely a better film, but I think because this one is still trying to, because it's based off a children's book too, so I think that's why we have the talking. I don't mind the talking animals because I've seen thousands of animated movies where animals talk. So
I know that's the whole point. Is like give us one that doesn't.
There's a man and his dog film where the dog doesn't talk in the animated film section. What's that?
And Lupita, of course, is amazing. It's surprising how well she is as a voice actor, but it still is astonishing that one of the most talented women in show business and one of the most beautiful women in show business has done so many voice acting roles. Not to diminish it, because she's incredible in it, but I'm like, she should be in more live action movies.
Yeah, we don't want to lose her to her voice.
But she should still do animation, right?
Yeah, she can do animation, but I mean, she's also in Jungle Book and Star Wars as voice characters, you know?
Catherine O'Hara was also in Elemental, so she's doing well with these kind of animated films.
This director also directed The Call of the Wild. Is that what you're talking about?
Lilo and Stitch.
The Croods, How to Train Your Dragon, Lilo and Stitch. Those are his movies.
Yeah.
He directed the Harrison Ford Call of the Wild? I did not know that.
You remember that COVID movie?
Yeah. Well, this is much better than that.
Oh God, yeah.
I've never seen it.
You're not missing anything.
Well, it's doing really well. 8.2 on IMDb. You can see it on Peacock right now. It did well in theaters with a $78 million budget. Wow, for an animated film, that's pretty low. Worldwide gross, $325 million. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, we have a new winner for highest score. 97% from the critics, 98% from the audience.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy. All right,
Cody.
my
No,
number
we got
5.
just number 5.
Sorry, Justin.
No, that's okay. It actually is perfect selection for my number 5 because this movie did give me the non-talking animals, and it is a beautiful animated film. Yes, there is no talking. Why is it up for international feature? Because it was made internationally, but it's also up for best animated feature and could beat out The Wild Robot and its flow. Just remarkable. I mean, it's like this is the animation that we used to see. You know, it looks like a CGI rendering. You know, it's sort of like a plate that they just sort of drew over. This movie is beautiful. It's about a cat who's going with the flow because that's all it can do. Because there's a flood in its forest. And it meets all these great characters along the way. And, you know, they are animals, but you think of them as humans in a way because you've met these people along the way. So it's almost like you are in the boat with these sort of strangers who we've met and seen in our lifetime. It is got a lot of heart. Such a weird, interesting movie to be kind of just come out of nowhere. And do so well as far as award season and being talked about from movie lovers. This was just a little slice of pie because it's kind of like Life of Pi as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just animals being animals and trying to survive, and it works. It really, really works. I loved it. And yeah, if you're a cat lover, Rob,
Yeah.
you'll love it.
I've seen it.
Did you love it?
I did. I just preferred Memoir of a Snail and Piece by Piece and The Wild Robot more.
I liked Piece by Piece a lot. That was my number 15 favorite film of the year.
Nice. That was my 14th, actually.
Nice. Cody, you haven't seen this one yet?
I've not seen this one yet. I think it's on VOD.
Yeah. It's worth $6 for sure. It's only an hour and 25 minutes. Yeah, just go on a little adventure and have a good time.
Did you like Robot Dreams, Justin? Because I kind of put that on my 2024 list and we got it in April.
I did like it. I thought, you know, it's sort of about the same thing. You know, friendships and strangers and, you know, wanting to feel something from somebody else. I thought it was really good. It wasn't my favorite animated movie of that year, but it was really well done.
Oh, good.
I only saw it because it was nominated for an Oscar. I don't think I would have seen it initially.
Yeah.
But we do have some numbers for this one. Nominated for the 2 Oscars, 7.9 on IMDb. No real box office budget to talk about, but it has the exact same numbers as The Wild Robot. 97% from the critics, 98% from the audience.
Wow.
This is a perfect number 5 for it.
Yeah. People really responded to the animals this year, I guess.
Yeah. And I have 2 animated movies on my list that doesn't necessarily happen all the time.
Yeah.
I was trying to have 2, but I ended up just with The Wild Robot. There were just more movies I preferred in between that and Piece by Piece.
Are we ready for number 4?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I know we ended up doing a top 11 this year, so I'm sorry that I'm cheating with the number 4 with a tie.
Oh,
But
come on, Code.
but I really could have just picked one of these, but I really wanted to highlight it because it was a really good year for documentaries. And one of these documentaries is about a man whose work meant a lot to me as a child and still means a lot to me as an adult. And getting to go to the Puppet Museum in Atlanta and them having that Fat Fraggle Rock exhibit there while I was there for my birthday is why Jim Henson's Idea Man is on there. But there's another documentary I want to highlight.
Is it the one I watched today?
Yes, this is just an incredible story about an individual who was stricken with a disease that left him in a wheelchair and couldn't leave his house, but found a world and a community playing the World of Warcraft across the world and the remarkable life of Iblan. And it's just a devastatingly touching story that'll make you bawl. And not only that, it's just lovely to see that there are decent things that come out of the internet.
I just want to shout to my friend and fellow YouTuber James Parkin, my older friend from college. He has the same disease that the bloke had in the thing.
So,
yeah.
So that's why I cheated here, because I felt like I needed to put Jim Henson in the list. But really, The Remarkable Life of Iblan would be the documentary for me of the year that I saw.
Nice.
I saw Jim Henson Idea Man. Loved it. Thought it was great. I haven't seen this one. It was shortlisted for Best Documentary. Did not get through. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about The Remarkable Life of Iblan.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's different. He's got a lot of differences, right, Cody, than Jim Henson's Idea Man?
Absolutely, but I love how I guess they took like the family's because the family had access to his blog, and that's how they found out that he had this whole other life that he played online. But like they recreate the instances of how he played his character in the game and the people he met with and became friends with, and they kind of recreate it like you're in the game too. It's really interesting. And again, like I said, because the internet is often thought of as a toxic, terrible place where people are mean and trolly to each other, but it's nice to see that there's like wonderful places of love and nice things.
Us three became friends because of online.
Yeah, so it's nice to see that shown in a movie, that there are good things that can come from the internet.
Yeah.
It's that's sad. It gives it away right there in the thread there. But Remarkable Life of Iblan is on Netflix. You can see it now. 8.2 on IMDb. 97% from the critics. 96 from the audience. Jim Henson Idea Man is over on Disney Plus. It is a 7.7 on IMDb. 98% from the critics. Holy moly. And 91 from the audience.
Nice. Great pick.
All right. Yeah. I need to see that Iblan.
It's good.
Rob, do you have a tie at your number 4?
No, just the movie you mentioned earlier, Gladiator 2. One of the most entertaining movies I've seen all year. I had doubts about this movie, but I was just tied in with that plot.
Yeah. I am one of those who actually did enjoy it more than the first. I just think the world that it was built, we kind of seen this world before, but again, the year of the monkey. We got more monkey in this movie.
You were just more entertained.
Yeah, we got to go to the Coliseum more and see more of the comings and goings going on in there. Plus, you have this sort of race to be king and leader, but also great performances by the two actors who played
Joseph and Fred.
the kings there. And yeah, was it Joseph Quinn
Joseph
and
Quinn and
Fred
Fred. What was his name?
Hikinger? Yeah,
Yeah.
we do
The
get
Hikinger
Connie
kid
Nielsen.
knows exactly what movie he's into because he's the only actor giving a similar performance that Denzel's giving.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
Denzel. People are like, "Well, what'd you do to prepare for this?" And he's like, "Did you go look at the history books?" And he's like, "No, I read what the script was, and then I created the character." And he wanted lavish robes, he wanted bright colors, he wanted to be the brightest thing on the screen, and he definitely was. I mean, it's such a performance. The what's so great about this movie is that there's so many different parts and angles in each scene that Ridley had 6 different cameras going at once and just yelled action, and they would film each thing at the same time instead of giving like fake response or dialogue to somebody who's not even there. That's to me is just so smart. But Denzel did say that because of that, he felt like for the first time in a long time, like a background actor, which I thought was really funny. It's brutal. It's great action. Each time we are going back to the Coliseum is something new and fresh.
How did you
And
guys feel about Pedro?
yeah, it's a good character.
I felt like his plot was very underwritten.
Yeah.
But it's necessary for the sympathy side.
I could see that. I just felt like it just didn't give him much to do in the movie.
Only 2 returning cast members in this film.
Yeah, and poor Derek Jacobi doesn't get, or is it Jacoby? Either? Okay, yeah, they don't give that poor man much to do in this movie either. I hope he got paid well.
I'm sure he did.
Hey, we did see Russell Crowe in the movie. So there's actually 3.
It was nice to also see Matt Lucas in a serious film.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit. I'm like, is that the Matt Lucas from the greatest British baking show in Doctor Who?
He's a master of ceremonies. Yeah, I think that if it weren't for the Emperors and if it wasn't for Denzel and then the action spectacle of this movie,
I love Paul Mescal.
he was okay. But just like Russell, I was like, you did fine, but you're not the best performance in this movie.
Do you think Joaquin's better in the first one?
I'm sorry?
Do you think Joaquin's better in the first one than Russell?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Only nomination. With the character reveal with Paul Mescal's character and kind of what it does to the first movie, and
they kind of hinted at it in the first movie, though.
I guess I just think the first movie is just like a perfect plot from A to B, especially with Maximus's story. Like
I'm just surprised you haven't moaned about the sharks yet.
That's a real thing. That actually happened.
How did they get sharks? Water, I understand, but sharks.
Well, I am engaged to a historian. She has her master's, and she said all of that was real. So I believe her. Only nomination this movie got was for costume design. I do think Denzel should have been in there for supporting actor.
This is why they need the stunt category.
Yeah.
Because this would be the winner.
You know, Paul Mescal sort of has the hitman guy, Glenn Powell thing. He's just really hot right now. People love him. They want to see him in things, and I think he did a really good job. Yeah, I really like this movie a lot. It is a movie made for me.
Yeah, it was better than the sequel to one of my other favorite movies of this year.
Yeah.
It was better than Joe Caffolia do.
Well, nobody liked that one.
The only good thing about it was the cinematography.
They did want a Barbenheimer from this year, and they thought it was going to be Gladiator 2 and Wicked, and they were going to call it Glicked. And
No,
it
what
just didn't
happened?
work
It
out.
wouldn't have worked in the UK because Gladiator came out a week before Wicked did.
Yeah. Still did really well, though. The box office, $250 million budget, worldwide gross, $461 million. Sitting at 6.6 on IMDb, and over on Rotten Tomatoes, 71% from the critics and 82% from the audience.
Nice.
Yes, very nice.
I like this movie.
Moving on.
Number 3.
moving
So,
No, number 4 for me.
oh, sorry, I did it to myself. Did it to you. Sorry about that, Justin. What's your
Sorry,
number
Justin,
4?
if you become the Invisible Man today.
No, it's because when two people talk about a movie, you think that it's like, like you just went. So I get it. I'm not mad about it. Don't worry. All right. Going into this movie, I did not think really anything about it. I didn't really care. I know that a lot of people are enjoying it and it's getting a lot of award buzz. I don't think it's going to win anything, but this is one of those performance-driven movies where the movie itself, I didn't really care for it, but I love the performance in it, and I especially love the music in it. I've never been a Bob Dylan fan, but I had a good time with A Complete Unknown in my number 4.
Which is my number 12.
I love the performances and I love the music. I think Timmy Chalamet did an amazing job talking like Bob Dylan, just not singing like Bob Dylan. I think Edward Norton is incredible as Pete Seeger. It's kind of nice to see him playing a nice person in a movie.
Yeah.
Monica Barbaro should be winning that Oscar, not Zoe Saldana. She is the better performance.
She was great as Joan Baez. And I got to say, as much as I love Walk the Line, Boyd Holbrook looked just like Johnny Cash.
I know, he was amazing.
Well, why this is a world building opportunity. Like, why didn't Joaquin Phoenix play Johnny Cash? It just that should have happened.
It's the same director.
Exactly.
So that would have been interesting if he got Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's just too much method energy there if we had Joaquin and Timmy Chalamet in a scene together. Because they already got Edward Norton there too, Maybe they're like too many method actors in one movie.
The movie, it's the story is Bob Dylan becoming Bob Dylan, but it's starting out acoustic and then going to electric. Like, that's the story. I don't care about any of that stuff. So that to me wasn't appealing, whatever. But when he picks up the guitar and starts singing, that's when everything to me just sung, pun intended. I think this is sort of, Rob, how you felt about Back to Black. You really thought the girl did a really good job, and she sang well. I think Timothée Chalamet did a great job, and he sang well. I don't think I see him winning Best Actor, but
he will one day, but not this year.
Yeah, but I do disagree. I don't think Monica Barbaro is better than Zoe Saldana at all. Like, no way. But she was really good, and if that is the case, then James Mangold will have 2 Best Supporting Actresses from biopics winning Oscars.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised he's won. Yeah, I'm surprised he's been nominated for Best Director.
Yeah, well, he got the DGA, so that might have got him his bump into the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the old school typical Oscar movie. There's always at least one every year, and this is the one. I think it's really well done, but to me, it feels more like a docudrama than an actual movie.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, I totally think it is, and I'm sure the documentaries on Bob Dylan are probably
And
even
I was
better.
happy that Scoot McNairy gave a good performance in his small role because I didn't like him in Night Bitch, but I loved him in Speak No Evil. And
Yeah,
this was a very good performance by him.
Oh, Scoot playing Woody.
oh, Scoot. But also, like you said, Edward Norton's fantastic. He's so likable in this movie. You know, he's just always
Don't you mean Brad Pitt?
yes.
I also like that this is just focused on a certain time point in Bob Dylan's life instead
Yeah,
of
that's
doing
what I
like
liked about
the
it
birth
too.
to where he is now in life. Also, I'm probably on my own island here, but I prefer Todd Haynes' weird Bob Dylan movie with
I'm
all
still
the
here.
different, yeah,
I
with
need
all
to
the
see it
different
myself, so I'll
performances.
add it to the list.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either, but yeah, I did now like Bob Dylan, so I have a complete unknown and Timothy
I
Chalamet.
took my dad to see this and he loved it. He loves
Yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Well,
Also,
I mean,
go ahead.
he is one of the most important musical artists of the 20th century.
And this was a better film than the other Bob singer.
Bob Marley, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Nominated for 8 Oscars for Best Sound, Best Picture, Achievement in Directing, Actor in Leading Role, Actress in a Supporting Role, Actor in a Supporting Role, Adapted Screenplay, and Achievement in Costume Design. Do we have any locks?
No locks.
No.
Timmy's the only one that's probably going to give Adrian Brody a run for his money for actor.
Adrian Brody's on his way to winning 2 Oscars and not being an A-lister.
That's right.
We'll see how SAG goes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sad makes me so sad.
What does your vote might matter?
No, I know, but it's who they picked is just sort of upsetting.
Yeah.
Movie did okay. It's a budget of 70 million, worldwide gross 88.8, 7.7 on IMDb, on Rotten Tomatoes 80% from the critics, but 96 from the audience. And this is sort of like a movie I'm going to talk about in a bit where I didn't really care about it going in, but I really enjoyed it coming out. And I think that's what movies are. They make you feel things.
In the words of Roger Ebert, movies are an empathy machine.
Nice.
I was the same about Bad Boys 4 going in, but I ended up having a good time watching it.
Yeah, I also had a
that was a fun movie. That's a solid franchise, surprisingly.
Except that's the one that should have been called Bad Boys for Life.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep moving. This is becoming a long episode.
It is. My number 3, which I guess might have to wait because I'm not sure where Justin's putting it, but we know it's on Justin's list.
And it's on my list.
It's on Robbie's list. It's man, does this movie just rule? It's got an incredible score. I think it's criminal it didn't get an Oscar nomination for score or screenplay.
It won the Golden Globe for score. It's so weird.
You know, maybe the best tennis movie ever. Also, oddly, a sexy movie that doesn't really have much sex in it. but still, it's just one of the most entertaining and well-filmed movies I saw all year. It's Challengers. Nice. And Zendaya is the patron saint of, fragile white boys.
That's me. Yeah, it's a little higher on the list. So
okay.
Nice. My number 3 is a comeback movie for a male who was in a terrible superhero movie nearly 10 years ago, and he is gone into directing, and this is his second directorial movie. And he put himself in one of the hottest stars on television. Mr. Kieran Culkin, it's a real pain.
Wow. Not on the list.
Yeah,
Have
it
you
didn't
seen this
quite
one?
make the list for me either, though. I think Kieran's probably a lock for supporting actor, and he's really great in this movie, but I think it just underplays how good Jesse is, even though Jesse is basically playing most of what he usually plays in movies, but he does it really well. And I think it's a really good movie about coping with grief and how other people cope with it, but also your relationship with sometimes your family. Like that whole monologue scene Jesse has at the restaurant, all of us can
Beautiful
relate to
scene.
that to somebody we love.
I just like the dynamic between Jesse and Kieran, because you kind of got your classic straight man in comic, where you've got Jesse Eisenberg, who's the serious one, and Kieran Culkin, who's the laid-back kind of funny one. And I think they work as a duo. I'd love to see them work again after seeing this. And I think Macaulay's going to be annoyed when he goes around Kieran's house and sees all these awards.
Well, he also won the Critics' Choice Award again last night.
Well
I
deserved.
don't get it. I don't understand.
Do you have a cousin?
Yeah, I like the movie. And Kieran's great, but he's not Oscar performance worthy. This is not something that is like beyond his sort of everyday living. Like there's no stretch of acting for him. This is just him being fun and goofy. There is one empathetic moment that we have with him, but that's it. There's no growth for me in this movie for him, and I don't see any reason why he's getting all the accolades for his performance in this movie. Because I do agree, Jesse.
Would you rather his Succession brother win, Jeremy Strong?
I do think that Jeremy Strong did a lot more and had more to do with his character than Kieran Culkin did. Yes. But also that I do think Jesse Eisenberg is getting overlooked here. I mean, this is a great, really well-written movie, and I'm glad that he got nominated for screenplay. But this is a duo here, and I don't think if there's no Eisenberg in this film, then Kieran Culkin doesn't soar or sing like he does. My favorite part of the movie, though, is the statue photo thing. I thought that was just really, really fun and lovely.
Did you know the tour guide is the director of the Cat movie with Benedict Cumberbatch?
Oh, yeah?
And we also see an acting legend in this film, Jennifer Grey.
Yes.
Yeah, it was nice to see her in a movie again.
Yes, but she was unrecognizable. I honestly didn't even realize until the movie was over and the credits were rolling. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting to make a top 10 there, but it is on a lot of other people's top 10. So you can stream it right now on Hulu, 7.1 on IMDb. It's only an hour and a half. Gross worldwide was only $18 million, which I'm sure is pretty good for what it cost. 96% from the critics, 81% from the audience.
It's just the dynamic between David and Benji reminds me of me and my cousin, Thomas.
Just getting into fun antics, huh?
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is not on anybody's list, because why would it be? But it's on mine. Oh, it's a sequel, and it is definitely better than the first. And this, again, is a performance-driven movie, and nobody in the Best Actress category did better, or the Best Actress in the Actress category did better than Miss Naomi Scott in Smile 2.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow.
What a performance by her. She is undeniably good in this film, and it is one of the better horror films of 2024. It is sick. It's sadistic. It gives us a lot. It gives us 10 times more than what they gave us in the first one.
It was
the first one
actually
was
scary.
yes, the first one was like a little taste of everything. It's like, well, this is fine, and I like the concept, but boy, did they make it even more aggressive in Smile 2. I think it was just really, really smart, and this is how horror films should be built. And my God, is Naomi Scott just a tour de force? I mean, it's one of the best performances I saw all year last year, and it is definitely memorable and psychotic. Um, I think this is what Trap wanted to be. Just could not get close to it at all. I just thought it was really, really smart. And yeah, I never would have thought going into it that it would be in my top 10, let alone in my top 3. But I just thought it was really well done. Smile 2 is my number 3.
I need to check out Smile 2 then, because I'm somebody who was in the camp of enjoying Trap, but I'll check out Smile 2.
Yeah, Trap is fine. Totally. I think it was one of those that fell into the ending, like the first and second act was good, and the third kind of fell off. But I really, really like this one. And yeah, check it out.
I also like how it goes through the mentality of somebody famous.
Totally. I mean, it's I don't. If since Cody, you haven't seen it, I don't want to say too much more.
And I didn't like Naomi Scott in either Aladdin or Charlie's Angels in 2019, but I love her now because of Smile 2.
Well, that just shows you that actors sometimes can't elevate material.
No.
Yeah.
Case in point, Robert Pattinson's an incredible actor, but Twilight can only you can only do so much with that writing.
He's incredible as Batman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just like most horror films, this movie did really well. It was $28 million budget. Worldwide gross is 138, which means we're getting a third. 6.8 on IMDb, 86% from the critics, and 81% from the audience. She's so damn good, Cody. Once you watch it, just let me know. I mean, maybe you hate the movie, but you can't deny her performance.
I like the first one just fine. So if it's better than the first one, I'm sure I'll like it.
Oh, much better. I gave her a positive review on Fright Night Flicks.
Yeah. All right. We're down to it.
Number 2. My number 2 is a movie I had never heard of. Didn't even know it came out or existed. But then I saw it on a couple of people's top 10 list, a couple of critics, and I read a brief synopsis of what it was about. And I was like, well, let me check out this movie because it is streaming. And it's a movie also about grief, coping with grief. And it's interesting because it is also a movie about the power of theater and how theater can be therapeutic, but also how sometimes art imitates life and vice versa. And it's a really emotionally sweet and devastating film, and I just really loved it, and it's Ghostlight.
Nice.
Yeah, this is some people's number 1.
Which I'm planning to watch next time I have my friend round to see he wants to watch it too.
I highly recommend it, especially if anyone has done community theater. You are going to respond to a lot of the supporting characters.
Yeah. Again, I've been reading up. Justin loves the director's other film, St. Francis.
St. Francis?
Yeah.
Again, this is like I forget which movie we were talking about earlier that didn't really have any known actors in it, but this one only has one recognizable actor to me in it, and it's the lady from Triangle of Sadness who got nominated.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's yes. This movie.
I did love St. Francis.
That's the only actor I knew in that movie. I didn't recognize any of these other actors. But again, it doesn't matter if the story resonates with you and it's that good. You don't have
Oh no! In British films, in British indie films, they use actors who are lesser well known. That's why I keep telling you about Ken Loach, because he rarely uses big named actors. He can if he wants, but he chooses not to.
Yeah, this is one I do want to check out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I recommend it very highly.
Why'd you see it? I mean, like how did you see it? How did you see it?
It's streaming on AMC Plus.
Oh, okay.
That's how I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have a UK release date yet, but it'll probably be on my little tool I use to watch movies.
It's on Acorn TV, which is a Prime Video channel.
Yeah, it'll definitely be on the thing I use for movies then.
Yeah. No real box office, but yeah, again, I saw a lot of people have this at the number one, so it's got to be
7.6 on IMDb.
Yeah, 99% from the critics.
Wow.
On Rotten Tomatoes, 92% from the audience.
Wow.
And it came out in June, so it stuck around for a
Wow,
while.
so it came out a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
How come these kind of smaller films never reach the height of the Oscars?
Well, I think it's from all the stuff that Cody said. It's like no known actors. Kind of just was it's a little Sundance darling, flew under the radar.
Yeah, I get you.
Cool. That's a good pick.
You ready?
Right. Yep, number 2.
So, this has already been mentioned on my list. I just want to give a little bit of the background to why this is my number 2. So, as you guys know, in July I started a horror YouTube channel called Fright Night Flicks, trying to get back my critic career back up and running, and I watch a lot of horror films over the last year. There's even some I've missed because there's been a lot, but this is the year of horror. And I have to shout loads of great mentions because there was Longlegs, there was Robert Eggers' version of Nosferatu, the remake of Speak No Evil, Maxine, Trap, and John David Washington did a horror drama called The Piano Lesson. But in my head, nothing comes close to the best horror film of the year other than The Substance. Demi Moore's comeback, Margaret Qualley's rise to fame, and don't we just all love Dennis Quaid as a sleazy, horrible producer called Harvey? Isn't he the character you just love to hate?
I gotta say, the scene where she has a meeting with him in the restaurant and the sound they use, like his eating is even disgusting. Like
Yeah, the camera angles for whenever he's on screen too were interesting. It was only when he was on screen, but what a unique film. Just
And it reminded me of a Stanley Kubrick film at times, the way it was shot.
yeah, this was probably the most talked about movie of the year. That and Wicked, I would say, just because Wicked, on a more blockbuster sort of a sense, but this movie is talked about just it's body horror, it's good acting, it's weird, it's something we've never seen before. It has a lot of meanings and messages to it, and it's unforgettable.
what was the studio that initially distributed it, but then the movie bought it because they didn't want it?
Oh, I don't know.
Because there was some studio that had it, and I'm glad I guess a lot of people that are watching the Oscars that may have not caught this one might be subscribing to Mubi for a month to watch it. But I think it's a missed opportunity because this thing actually did fairly well, I think, at the box office, didn't it?
A working title was meant to have it. One of Universal's companies.
Oh, yeah. Why did Universal not? They're all about horror.
Yeah, that's how they got started.
Too weird for them.
It did do well in theaters. $17.5 million budget, worldwide gross 76.9. So that is a good plus.
Yeah, and as amazing as it is for Demi Moore, and I wish her all the success she's getting from this role, she deserves it. She's a legend, and she's incredible in the film. But Margaret Qualley is also incredible in this movie.
Well, yeah, and you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
So this is a movie that you don't want to talk a lot about because it will spoil. And every little thing matters that it doesn't get spoiled in this film.
I'm just happy it's the first horror film since 2017 to be nominated.
Also, it's a brilliant satire on top of being like a horror film, and like
yeah,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to the makeup. Speaking of, nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including hair and makeup. Also, Best Picture of the Year, Achievement in Directing for Coralie Fargeet, Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role for Demi Moore, and then Original Screenplay. Do we have any locks?
I think actress and possibly hair and makeup.
Yeah, I think those two as well. Everybody loves a comeback story. So Demi's probably
I
is close
really think
to
her
it.
speech at the Golden Globes like catapulted her chances that she's at now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lock for sure has got to be makeup and hairstyle. I don't think it should go to Wicked. Yeah, pretty damn good film, and I came at it late. I knew some things going into it, and I feel like I wish I just saw it immediately. But yeah, one of the most talked about movies of the year. Available to see on Mubi. Sitting at 7.3 on IMDb. We already did the box office. 89% from the critics, 75% from the audience. Should be higher.
So it sounds like just in your top two, it
Have been
is
mentioned already.
have been mentioned. We just need to know what order they come in now.
Yes. Well, this movie was previously mentioned.
That helps narrow it down.
Okay. Everyone agrees that it should have been nominated for Oscars and wasn't.
Okay, that helps.
This movie is a movie where my note says it was the best movie I didn't want to see. The face had me nervous and not appealing, but the movie and performance was stellar, and that's a different man.
Yay!
Again, I just put it off. I watched The Apprentice before I watched this, and I'm like, you idiot. But what a unique film. This movie is so different than what we've seen before. And I just think the way that they did it and the way that it was super smart. They didn't placate to people with this sort of disease or diseases in general. It embraced it. And I just thought that was really, really nice to see. It is about theater as well, and Sebastian Stan definitely gives the best performance of the year from a male. Besides Coleman Domingo, of course, I think. But I was along for the ride the entire time, and I wish that I, didn't not want to see it because it became such a favorite of mine throughout from.
Can I just please just say one thing?
Yeah.
All 5 of these actors nominated for supporting actor are fantastic, and yes, I would love to see Kieran Culkin win. But in my head, nobody had a better male supporting actor role than Adam Pearson.
Yeah, he was good.
When he comes on too, he's just so charismatic too. Like I didn't know like this guy was going to come into the movie, but like he almost, like, I know it's part of the plot of the movie, but he almost steals the movie away from Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't expecting this to be so much of a comedy. Like it felt like a Charlie Kaufman movie to me.
I was laughing a lot.
It had a bit of horror, a bit of drama, a bit of comedy, and a bit of thriller. That's what you want in a movie.
Yeah. It was just so surprising, and I really liked it. It is a different film, and I think that how it hit was just really, really well done. And It's sort of along the lines of the substance. You think you need to be a certain way to be pretty or produce more or have people look at you, but then you get what you want, and then nobody's looking, right? And so it's like, well, what do you do?
And the guy would he still has the disability, comes in and ruins everything for you.
Man,
But at the same time, you love him and you want to know what he's doing.
Yeah, it was so surprising, and my number 2 film of the year, nominated for 1 Oscar for
Sebastian, Adam, and the girl from Worst Person in the World are my favorite ensemble this year.
A24 killing it. This is A24 movie as well as Sing Sing, nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and then I think Anora is also A24. 6.9 IMDb. You can watch this on Max. No real box office. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, 93%. Audience 89. What was it for you, Rob?
8th place, and my second favorite if I was telling you my horror ranking list as well.
Nice. Here we go. Number 1.
All right. Number 1. When I first saw this movie, I really liked it. I didn't have it this high, but this movie has not escaped my brain since I saw it. I've seen it twice now. And this movie speaks a lot to the LGBTQ community, especially the trans community. I can't speak on that as a cis straight white man, but I know it does. But what this movie does speak to me about is nostalgia. This movie is all about nostalgia, especially for shows of the 90s like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I grew up loving.
One of my favorite shows ever.
And it absolutely captures shows from SNCC on Saturday night, like Are You Afraid of the Dark? And not only does it capture what nostalgia is and what nostalgia can do to you, it's also about obsession and how we obsess over things we love and how we try to identify ourselves with the things we love and how it can destroy you if you just base your personality and your life around shows and movies you love. And I saw the TV glow.
Wow.
Nice.
Also on a lot of people's top 10 lists.
Also an incredible soundtrack, too. I love the soundtrack in this movie, too. And I believe this is an A24 movie, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The person who plays Maddie has changed their name to Jack Haven.
Oh.
I think Justice Smith is one of the better up-and-coming actors that we have.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Also,
and it's nice to see him in a different film to a blockbuster.
Yeah, where he's not playing a goofy comic relief he's sort of playing the awkward, nerdy character he's played before, but I really like his performance in this movie. It also has Daniel Detweiler in it.
Yes, it does.
And Limp Bizkit's Fred Durst, who I've met in real life.
Yeah, more nostalgia for the 90s.
Yeah, this one's on a lot of people's list as favorite movies, but it didn't get a lot of love. It didn't get a lot of buzz. Nobody was really talking about it. I do prefer the Black Society, the American Society of Magical Negroes for Justice Smith from last year. But
it's fun.
Yeah. But this is a really, really solid horror film.
I need to see the directors of the movie We're All Going to the World's Fair.
I haven't seen their first film either. But I think another thing this movie does really well is late in the film when he watches the show again that he was obsessed with as a kid, as an adult. And it shows you how goofy sometimes the things we love as children, how it looks to you as an adult. That's like, yeah, that's what happens sometimes.
Yep, tell me about it.
You said you saw this movie twice, Code?
Yeah, I've watched it twice now.
I've seen this film twice. So I wanted to show it to my friend who loves red dust.
Nice. Yeah, that's a solid pick. I enjoyed it as well. Danny Tamborelli's in it. He was, and Michael C. Morona. They're both in the SNCC sort of world there. Danny Tamborelli was on.
And you got Amber Benson, who was in Buffy. That's one of the kids' moms. Yeah.
The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Yep. Yeah, that's another show that it kind of
wasn't the girl from Buffy also in that? The one that plays Dawn?
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't Dawn in that show, Pete and Pete?
I'm not sure.
Michelle, what's her name, Berg?
Oh, I don't know if she was in Pete and Pete, but she's in Buffy, and she played Harriet the Spy, which was a Nickelodeon movie.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is in Pete and Pete as well.
Look at that. Yeah, good pick. You can watch it on Max. 5.8 on IMDb. Critics love it.
How does it have such a low rating on IMDb when it's so
not
much
a movie for
great?
everyone, and it's speaking of the late great David Lynch, it is very Lynchian, and it's like
it also reminds me of Wong Kar-wai's work as well because of the colors.
84% from the critics, 71% from the audience. All right, Rob.
All right, you ready for this? So they do. So as you were saying about Conclave, Cody, they do not make epic stories like this anymore. You don't, and the weirdest thing is that when you go and see a movie that's 3 hours long, you don't get an intermission anymore. But with this one, you did, and it was so good because not only did I enjoy this movie more, I got to have a bit of a stretch and a vape and an ordinary drink at the cinema, and it was great. And I do love the first half of this movie more than the second half, but to me, this is probably the best made movie in the world. I think if there is a successor to Christopher Nolan, he comes in Brady Corbet, and it's The Brutalist.
Not on our lists.
I haven't seen it. I
can see this being more. I can see this being more Cody's thing than yours, just to no disrespect.
No, I would agree. I would agree. Well, tell us why you loved it.
Well, one thing is I always love a good underdog story, and this is the underdog story about a man he's gone to America. He gets accepted in by his family at first, but then they just turn on him, and then he ends up doing drugs and doing the odd shit job until some wealthy businessman comes along and says, "You're a skilled architect. I'll throw you all this money and you can help me build this community center." And it just goes through like his time in America, and it's just such a beautiful big story with such a really well put together cast. As Felicity Jones hasn't been in a film for years, and she gets to shine straight as soon as she appears in the second half of this movie. Coco is an actor I've never really been big on. Gives one of his best performances to date. Isaac D. Ballo, who's normally either in the background or in indie films, he shines. And yet the cinematography by Law Crowley is phenomenal. You wouldn't think this is the guy who shot the British comedy Four Lions. And yeah, Brady Corbet, who I know, as a child, in the Thunderbird film, is now a phenomenal director. How is this possible?
Well, wasn't he when he was with the Thunderbirds? I mean, you can go on to do great things. You're not always just because you're in bad projects do you not get to elevate your talents later.
True, but it's just a surprise when I found out that he was the kid from that movie and he's become a fantastic director. He even looks like a director now.
I'm the director now.
Yeah, I think that this film is, well, it feels like a modern day David Lean epic. It's beautiful, it's well written, beautifully scored, great. I'm calling this bullshit on the AI. Everything just looks so real.
I've heard a lot of comparisons to it to There Will Be Blood and The Godfather.
Yeah, this is what it is. It's the There Will Be Blood. It's the Godfather. It's the Lawrence of Arabia of this generation. It's going to be one of the all-time greats in the history books, and I reckon it'll get better and better on each watch. To me, the best film is the best one you see in cinema, and this is probably one of the best experiences I've had in the cinema for a very long time, and that's why The Brutalist comes in at my number one.
Guy Pearce is phenomenal in this movie.
See, if Kieran doesn't win Best Supporting Actor, I hope it's Guy Pearce.
Well, Guy gave us exactly what I was mentioning before. It's something harder than what you just do with your day-to-day life, but also like we saw his growth in the movie, and we saw how he's able to be sympathetic and aggressive. But yeah, I think it was definitely a better performance than Kieran Culkin gave, and a better performance than Mr. Brody. I don't want to talk about this movie because Cody hasn't seen it. But yeah, it is nowhere near my top.
You didn't hate the movie, did you?
I did not hate the movie, no. Nominated for 10 Oscars, including Score, Best Picture of the Year, Best Director, Actor in a Leading Role, Actress in a Supporting Role, cannot believe that. Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Original Screenplay, Cinematography, Film Editing, and Production Design. What's the lock?
Director, actor, and score and cinematography. I think those are the locks.
Yeah, I think this has Best Picture written all over it.
No, I think the Best Picture winner is the film we've not spoken about all evening, which is on everyone's number one list apart from ours, and that's Anora. I think that's winning Best Picture.
You think it's going to end up winning Best Picture? Because I know it won at the Critics' Choice, but it's kind of gone down in its award chances since it came out.
I think Sean Baker won last night for screenplay.
He only won Best Picture.
I feel like that might be its lock for the Oscars as original screenplay, right?
Oh, absolutely.
One of the movies that I had mentioned where I loved the first and second half and did not like the third act.
Oh, the second part of Anora is my favorite part with the gangster guys and everything.
Oh God, it was hilarious. Hilarious.
It's weird because it was a moment where I feel like I shouldn't have laughed, but I was laughing my head off.
No, for sure. And Mikey did what she does best, which is scream her head off.
At least she didn't get burnt on fire in this film.
No. Do we think Brady Corbet's going to get Best Director?
Absolutely. If he doesn't, I am going to blow up the Academy building.
Hey, I'm going to be there.
Sorry.
No. Yeah. Man, I wish you'd seen this movie, Cody, so we can talk more about it.
I'm sorry. When we
right.
when we were in town to see a movie where it was playing, the compromise was watch A Complete Unknown instead because it was shorter.
Oh, well, yeah. No intermission. Let's see. Box office, $10 million budget, which is incredible for a movie like that. Like, that's insane. Worldwide gross is $19 million, so it made its money back, which is great. 8.0 on IMDb. Critics give it 93% with the audience 80%.
Nice.
All right. Well, it just makes sense that the best movie of the year is the last movie we talk about.
And it's probably if we were combining this list together, it would probably be number one on the full list.
Because it's the one that's on all three of our lists.
Exactly.
we can all talk about it now. This is Challengers, Zendaya, Mike
Which
Feist,
is,
Josh O'Connor.
you have the same number one as Patrick Willems does, the YouTuber.
Oh, nice. This was number 2 for me in my half year, but it beat out Zack Shack and a lot of other movies.
What happened to Boy Kills World? Did I watch it for no reason?
What happened?
Boy Kills World. What happened to that?
It's in my it's number 12. It barely missed the list.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one of the best action films all year, so that's why I like that movie a lot. But yeah, this movie came out pretty early on and stuck with me the entire time. Just like Cody said, it's super sexy without any sort of sex going on, and that's because of the tension building throughout it. Zendaya gives a performance.
I love how your number one of this year and your number one of last year are not just in the first half of the year, but are also from Amazon. Are you a spokesman for Amazon?
Yeah, I love Amazon. I think the shots in this movie, the camera work, the camera trickery in this film really, really elevated it. The score elevated it. The performances are all really, really good. Sort of, we've been these characters before. We've gone through this stuff, and it just makes it more approachable.
You fell out with a friend because of a girl?
So
no. But I've fought over girls with friends.
So the screenwriter of this movie is married to the writer and director of Past Lives. So now I want to know if there's a third person out there that's got a screenplay about a love triangle.
Yeah. I wonder.
Another Luca Guadagnino movie that Justin wrote, that came out last year, was Queer.
I haven't
seen it. Only okay.
A lot of people thought Daniel Craig was going to get nominated, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this movie is just a lot of fun. It stuck with me all year, and it stuck with all of us all year. I think that shows something. Yeah. Did pretty okay in theaters. $55 million budget, 96 worldwide. Sitting at 7.1 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 88% with the 75% from the audience.
But apparently, according to tennis fans and tennis experts, the screenwriter really did his research on professional tennis, because he nails everything, the stuff in Atlanta, people eating at the Applebee's in Cincinnati. Apparently he really dove into the world of tennis.
Yeah,
that's great.
I just wish somebody would make a good film about my favorite sport, which is soccer.
All right, honorable mentions. Boy Kills World. I did like Emilia Perez. I think Zeldana gave the best performance. Piece by Piece. Deadpool and Wolverine.
I had a feeling we would end up talking about Deadpool and Wolverine at some point.
Well, the thing is that it was the best comedy of the year. We didn't have any good comedies, and I think that was the best one.
I like Drive Away Dolls. That had its moments.
Yeah, that's true. Other ones, just real quick. I mean, we've already named a lot, but I enjoyed Nickel Boys. Thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think The Girl with the Needle is the craziest, unforgettable movie I've seen all year. But it doesn't make it the best movie of the year. It's just, I won't forget it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was good. I thought Alien Romulus was pretty good. Twisters and Fall Guy did its job.
Nice.
Fall Guy was a ton of fun.
Yeah. And then the other one that just was interesting was The Last Showgirl. I thought
I need
Pam
to see
Anderson
that.
did a good job.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but it's directed by Coppola's granddaughter, and Pamela Anderson got
Let's hope she makes a better film than her granddad did.
Any other ones that haven't been mentioned from you guys?
Nosferatu was very good, although I didn't really like Lily Rose Depp's performance in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of my honorable mentions have been listed already. Anora, Civil War, Nosferatu, Trap.
Maxine is one of mine. Did you guys see The Outrun with Charisse Rowan? That's really good.
No, I saw the other one, Blitz.
That one's good. Maria's fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude, Angelina Jolie. I cannot believe she didn't get nominated.
Same.
And
If you guys like Barry Keoghan, Bird's worth watching as well.
I'm going to highlight another documentary about another important figure of a lot of people's childhood, and that's Superman, the Christopher Reeve story.
I want to see that.
Yep, I want
You
to
know
see
what
that
else
too.
broke into my top 40? Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is actually the best Sonic movie.
Okay.
There's no bad wedding plot in Sonic 3, so that's why it's good.
Yeah, that was so bad in the second
Olive
one.
Garden jokes.
No more Olive Garden jokes either.
Okay.
Late Night with the Devil, fantastic as well. Strange Darling. Beverly Hills Cop 4 had me in stitches. You guys did it soon, but I saw Paddington in Peru, and it was actually good.
Doesn't come out for us until next week.
Yep,
But it's still a 2024 movie. It's still a 2024 movie.
All right.
Well,
I'm sure
I
it's
love
good.
it.
I can't
It's
wait.
going on my 2025 list. You can't stop me. It's
Yeah,
released
just like Robot
2025.
Dreams was on yours.
When I tried to put Belfast on a top 10 list, you said it wasn't fair, even though we didn't get it till February.
It's based off of Oscars, okay? It's based off the Oscar season. If it comes out and is eligible for an Oscar, that's when it counts. Not after.
You could have squeezed Paddington in 2 weeks for an Oscar run.
I agree. Actually, it should have come out earlier. IMDb's top 20 movies of 2024. Dune Part 2 was number 1. Then The Brutalist.
Yep.
Ghostlight was number 3. Nosferatu's 4. Wild Robot
Ooh.
5. Furiosa Mad Max Saga. The Substance came in at number 7. A Real Pain. History Daughters. Conclave. The Count of Monte Cristo. The Outrun. Anora. All We Imagine as Light, which I thought was going to be up for international feature. Challengers. Wicked. Sing Sing. The Fall Guy. Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. And for some reason, Young Woman in the Sea was number 20.
Okay. I think India didn't submit All We Imagine Is Light, because from what I heard, had they submitted it, it would have been a shoo-in for...
If you guys want a really good Indian movie, watch Kill. It has action in it.
I do want to see that movie, but it has subtitles, so I have to make sure I watch it. Like, I have to focus.
Also, I heard The Count of Monte Cristo was actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's everyone's bogey film this year?
What?
A bogey film. Worst film of the year.
Megalopolis.
Oh, mine's Night Swim.
Like most disappointing?
Yeah, like what's at the bottom of your list?
Oh, well, I mean, least favorite or disappointing is different thing, right?
Yeah.
I'd say the most disappointing would probably be Megalopolis. I expected it to be great.
I haven't seen that. I guess for me, because I'm in the minority, because I think some people enjoyed it, but I'm going to say Drive Away Dolls, because I expected to like it more, it being from Ethan Cohen.
Yeah, I understand.
I thought it was just fine. It definitely felt like they didn't brush up that screenplay from 1999. It felt like they just took it out of the closet or the desk.
Yeah. I wasn't big on Heretic either.
I liked Heretic.
Hadn't seen that one. I heard Hugh Grant's amazing in it.
It's amazing, but the whole film is just a boring lecture on whether religion's fake or not.
I'm seeing a lot of Joker 2 as the worst movie of the year over here.
I didn't think it was
I
that
was
bad.
I wasn't big on A Quiet Place day one. Like Justin said with Furiosa, there wasn't really that much at stake.
Mm-hmm. The one that I didn't tell you guys that I liked a lot because I'm kind of embarrassed about it is Jackpot with John Cena. Thought it was fun.
That one was funnier than Brothers. Brothers just two serious actors don't make a comedy duo.
Yeah, I thought Aquafina and John Cena was a good duo.
Yeah, but Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin aren't the two stars of Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Anything
and
else?
I was a bit disappointed in the Lord of the Rings cartoon movie as well, which just kind of felt a bit boring.
I hadn't seen that one yet either.
Cody, you would like Lee with Kate Winslet.
I think that's streaming on Hulu. I think I can watch that one. I know she got a Golden Globe nomination for it.
Yeah.
She is a good actress, but the plot's a little bit slow.
Did either one of you see September 5? Is that good?
No.
It's not good?
No. I haven't seen it yet, but I do.
Oh,
it's nominated for an Oscar, so I for sure will watch it.
It
Steven
seems like
Spielberg
a movie
did it better 20 years ago.
Yeah, I just watched the Elton John documentary because it's up for Best Song, and then I'm finishing 688 because it's also up for Best Song. Because if Diane Warren writes a song, she will be up for Best.
Why don't you just listen to the song on YouTube?
No, because it doesn't count. You have to watch the movie.
Fair enough.
The documentaries I am not looking forward to, though, so...
But because no Piece by Piece, no the one Cody likes, no
Jim Henson.
Farrell's boycotting the Oscars because Will and Harper didn't get nominated.
Will and Harper should have been up for Best Documentary and Best Song, and it didn't get anything. Yeah, unfortunate. All right, let's shut this baby down. It's almost as long as The Brutalist.
We need an intermission.
We should have had an intermission an hour and 15 minutes ago.
So if we're recapping, do we want to just each recap our whole list instead of going back and forth?
Yeah. Hit us, Cody. Tell us your top 10, 11.
My top 11 of the year was Rebel Ridge, The Wild Robot, Dune Part 2, Conclave, The Substance, Hitman, The Substance, Sing Sing, tie at number 4 for Jim Henson's Idea Man and the Remarkable Life of Iblen, Challengers, Ghostlight, and I Saw the TV Glow was my favorite film of 2024.
Nice. My number 11 was Kneecap. My number 10 was Challengers. My number 9 was Wicked. My number 8 was A Different Man. My number 7 was Sing Sing. My number 6 was Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. My number 5 was The Wild Robot. Number 4 was Gladiator 2. Number 3 was A Real Pain. Number 2 was The Substance. Number 1 was The Brutalist.
Number 11 for me was A Better Man. I had Blink twice at number 10. Dune 2 at number 9. Then Inside Out 2. Snack Shack. Gladiator 2. Flow. A Complete Unknown. Smile 2. A Different Man. And Challengers.
I will have to say Smile 2 was your biggest surprise.
Yeah, mine too. Also, Challengers and Snack Shack are the only 2 movies not based on anything else. Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, that makes that a book. Yeah, only 4. Brutalist, Substance, A Real Pain, Different Man, and Challengers are all original. Sing Sing's based on obviously a book and real life and stuff.
Well, I don't think I counted A Different Man as not being original.
It is. I said A Different Man. Brutalist, Substance, A Real Pain, A Different Man, and Challengers.
No, I don't think it's based on original property.
Yeah, those are the 5 I said that aren't based on stuff.
Oh, they are. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kneecap's based on a band, so that's kind of adapted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess Flo's in there too.
Yeah.
I think
Cody's
I
got a
ended
lot.
up with 5 on my list that are original.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shut this baby down.
Yes. Thank
Rob,
you.
thanks
Thank
for
you
having
guys
us,
for.
buddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
I always enjoy this. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad we're doing this still, even if it
Yes.
does take a minute.
Yes. And let's make sure that next time us we do a video, it's sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
When Cody watches The Brutalist, let's talk about it brutally.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good idea.
All right. I'll let
Cool.
you know when I get a chance to see it.
You'll
Nice.
love it. It's a masterpiece.
Cool. Well, it was good seeing you guys. Thanks for having us, Rob.
It's
Yes,
okay. Thank you, guys. And make sure if you want more of me, check out Fright Night Flicks on YouTube.
Go check them out.
Right. See you, folks.
Bye. Everybody have
Bye,
a good
guys.
day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you. You too.
Or good night
Bye-bye.
to you.